1993 NFL playoff game between the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Oilers. During this game, right around halftime, the Houston Oilers were winning 28-3. Now I want you to take a moment to think about this. It's halfway through the game already. The Buffalo Bills are losing. They have 3 points and the other team has 28. But something happens during halftime. The Buffalo Bills score 28 straight points and they end up winning the game 41-38. Now, not that I'm a big sports fanatic, but I think that's fucking amazing to anyone's standards, because can you just imagine what happened during that halftime? So I think it's safe to say that a halftime is not just important, but it's absolutely necessary. And that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are at this year's halftime. As I record this, we're halfway through the year, and if you clicked on this video, I'm guessing you're not quite where you wanted to be at this point. Like possibly you started the year off all fired up, high hopes and ready to go, and things happened, and right now you're not quite where you want to be at this point of the year. And that's okay. That's why we have a halftime. To stop, take a step back, to see what we're doing and how we can make it better. And as I've demonstrated to you, you can still turn the whole game around. So if you want to find out how to do that, then keep on watching. Hello and welcome. My name is Melissa from thepurposecoaching.com, and today we're going to talk about how to do a mid-year life reset so you can turn your life around and still accomplish your goals that you set for this year. So you may be asking yourself, why do I have to do a mid-year reset? Well, as you learned in the halftime story I just told, halftime is necessary. It's absolutely necessary because, let's be realistic, you're a human being. Life happens to you. No one expects you to be high energy and completely focused all year round. Things happen, and we know this. So that's the point of a halftime, is to stop, take a break, and evaluate. Evaluate what you're doing, see what's working, what's not working, so you can still have a say in the outcome. It's okay and actually very responsible of you to take a step back and look at what you're doing so we can center ourselves. So if you're ready, then let's get started. Step number 1, clean your space. So when I say clean your space, I mean, I'm actually talking about 3 spaces. Your emotional space, your mental space, and your physical space. Now, there are reasons why it's important to have each of these spaces clean, and I'm going to go into more detail. This video is actually going to be a 4-part series. In other videos, I'm going to cover in detail cleaning your emotional space, cleaning your mental space, and tips on cleaning your physical space. But to kind of help you out, I'm going to go over a little bit right now. So your emotional space. Emotional space, there are things we carry with us for years. Feelings of resentment, of guilt, of anger, and those things weigh heavy on us, and we don't even realize it. Things have a way of piling up in our emotional life, so it's important for us to stop and notice what those are so we can let them go. So this may look like letting go of toxic relationships, forgiving somebody, letting go of anger, resentment, letting go of a fear or resentment that's holding you back. That's emotional space. As for mental space, since the moment you wake up in the morning, your mental space starts to get overwhelmed. All the ads on Instagram to buy this and open this and share this and start doing this. The people we compare ourselves to, all the scrolling and looking at everybody's life and comparing ourselves and feeling not enough. All the information your mind is getting at the same time, that's overwhelming. So one way to clear your mental space will be to do a social media detox where you don't go on social media for a week, not a day or 2, that's not enough time. Do it for like a week. Or going through your email and just emptying it out, doing those things you've had on your to-do list forever. Set aside a date and just do it. There's many other tips, and again, I'll go over this later, but as far as mental space, those are 2 great ones that you could do. And physical space. A clear space is a clear mind. So we are going to have a video on your physical space because I'm a firm believer in your exterior reflecting your interior. So talking about that pile of mail in your house, or that drawer that's just full of crap, or closet maybe, or all the junk at your office, or all that stuff in your car, that's a reflection of what's going on in there. And whether you're a messy person or not, it does affect us. We're visual, so when we're sitting in our car, we're at home, and we see all these piles of stuff, it affects us. It doesn't let us concentrate. So clear your physical space as well, because a clear space is a clear mind. Step number two, review your results up until this point. So I'm such a numbers and data person because numbers don't lie. So really sit down, look at what goal you had set yourself for the beginning of the year. So if that was, you were going to start running 3 times a week, really think of how many times you went running. Or if you set a goal for yourself to make a certain amount of money, have you made half of that goal yet? We're halfway through the year. If you wanted to make 100,000 this year. Have you made 50,000 so far? And this does not make yourself feel bad. This is just information. We can't move forward if we don't know where we are right now. So please sit down and really evaluate, be honest, what your results have been right now. Count everything. Don't disregard the small stuff because that matters too. Step number 3, ask yourself if your goal is still compelling. Now, I'm well aware that a lot can happen in a few months. While you may not be at your goal yet because there's things holding you back, or you've been distracted, or you haven't really been trying, I understand that. It's also quite possible that you don't want that goal anymore. It doesn't matter. Maybe things have changed since then. Maybe there's something else that's more important, and that goal is not what you want right now. So you really need to sit back and think, okay, I see the goal I set for myself this year. I see the results. Do I still want this? It's still important to me. The answer is yes, then great. We know where we're headed, we know our focus, and we can move forward now. If not, then you need to think, well, then what is? If I'm not doing this, maybe it's because I don't want it, okay? So really be honest with yourself here and find out if this goal is still compelling. And if it's not, then find one that is. Find a goal that's going to compel you to move forward, because it's going to be your focus for the next 6 months. Step number 4, feedback. I think most people believe that we learn from our mistakes, which is kind of true. Mostly we learn when we reflect on our mistakes. It's not enough just to make a mistake and be like, oh, okay, well, I won't do that again. Sit back and think, like, what caused that? Whatever results you have had, there are things that attributed to it and there are things that did not. So look at what those things were. For example, let's say you did go on several runs, and you stop and think, like, you know what? I had my tennis shoes in my car, and many of those runs were after work. And if I hadn't had those shoes in the car, I wouldn't have went home, you know? So realize what's worked for you so far so you can keep doing it, so you can stay on that track, so you can add to that, and vice versa. So say you're reviewing this and you realize, you know what? There were many days I didn't go running because I went out with my friend, and we went out drinking, we stayed out late, and I felt like crap the next day. I kind of noticed that, yeah, maybe when I do that too much, I don't feel like running. I don't feel like doing anything. So maybe I should cut back on that, or maybe we could do something else. Because again, when you're in it, when you're just going about your life, you don't realize these things. When you take a step back and look at it, you're like, oh, I can see that now. I realize that now. So this step is super important. Do not skip it. This is not good or bad. This is just information so that you can take action on this. If something helped you, if something brought you closer to your goal, keep doing it. If it held you back, then now you know what it was, and now you can make a decision about it. Step number 5, what do you need to do to stay on track? What support do you need? So this is the point where you need to be real with yourself and ask, do you need help? Because it's a well-known fact, anyone you look at, anyone that's successful, they did not get there alone. They did not get there alone. No one succeeds alone. Nobody. No one's gotten to where they've gotten by themselves. So if you've been going at this goal for months, for years, and you're still not there, then maybe it's time you ask for help. Maybe it's time you get support. Don't do the same thing. If you've always tried to, rely on your friends and family and it hasn't happened yet, do something different. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. We spend all this money on our laptops, on our freaking iPhones, on food, and for some reason we have an issue spending that money on us. Like, we're not going to be just as valuable. So please, if you've been going at this goal, do not resort back to old habits. Don't say, oh, well, I'm just going to do more of this. No. Because if it was that simple, you would have done it already. Oh, I just need to do more of this. No. You tried that. It hasn't worked. Now do something different. Hire somebody. Take a class. Go take a seminar. I don't know. Do something else. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to have the same results. I can't stress that enough. Just because you stopped and did this mid-year reset and now you're realizing things does not mean you can't go back and say, like, oh, I see now. Okay, I'm just gonna work harder. No. If it was that simple, you would have done it already. So ask for help. It's okay. Everyone that's successful has gotten there with the help of somebody because they had the right people around them. Surround yourself with the right people, even if you have to pay for it. Trust me, it'll all come back to you. You're worth that investment. Step number 6, what actions will you take now? Now, please make sure these are actions that you're actually going to do, If you wrote down some actions you can take, and in the back of your mind there's the slightest, I'm not going to do that, or, well, if I have time, I'll do it. Fucking erase it, because you're not going to do it. Don't waste your time. Back to the running example. If you know you're in no shape right now to start running 3 times a week because you're just not going to do it, then resort to walking. Buy a Fitbit. It doesn't have to be so extreme. I'd rather you take small, definitive steps and fight for months to take this big, giant step and never get anywhere. The whole point of this is to realize, okay, at the beginning of the year, I said I was going to do this. I haven't done anything about it. So clearly, I'm not ready for that yet. So what can I do? Let this be just another video you watch. Actually commit to something that you're going to do. Doesn't matter if it's small. If it's a step ahead than where you are now, it's progress. Your goals are not just for show, they're important to you. So just like the halftime story I told at the beginning of this video, that's just one of many, and it happens all the time. So it is absolutely possible for you to still turn this year around. Let go of what hasn't worked, let go of what held you back, let go of the feeling of disappointment and being mad at yourself. That's okay. It's part of your journey. It's part of your journey. Recommit to your goals and make it happen. You can do it. Make it happen. Thank you guys so much for watching. I realize that maybe some people didn't really take the time to review their goals beginning of the year. I have linked down below your free comprehensive guide on how to find your vision. So if you haven't done that yet, take advantage of it, download it, so you can have your goals set for the rest of this year. You'd be surprised what can happen in 6 months. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what you heard, please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and comment below what action are you going to take to recommit to your goals.